Hello, fellow fragrance lovers, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I think I have a pretty interesting topic for you, and I'm sure you'll see from the title. This video is going to be all about perfumes that feature the note of gardenia, and the reasoning behind it is because of the one and only Tommy Lee, the drummer of Motley Crue. I'm wearing my Motley Crue t-shirt, for the video, just to keep things exciting. But anyway, if you're wondering what the heck does Tommy Lee have to do with perfumes and gardenias, stick around. I'm going to tell you all about it. And of course, if you're new here, welcome. I am Limelight Lass, and my channel is predominantly about fragrances, but once in a while I switch things up. You never know what I'm going to do. Like today, I'm doing something a little bit out there, right? But I thought it would make for an interesting video. So if you are already a subscriber, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. I did reach my 1,000 subscribers. I also got monetized, which I'm very happy about. I mean, not that I'm racking up the dollars or anything, but the better I do with that, the more content I can bring you, the more fragrances I can get to try for you. So just keep watching, keep viewing, keep supporting, and I thank you very much for doing that. And of course, like this video if you end up liking it. But let me give you a little backstory about how this whole idea came about. So I recently read this wonderful book here, Tommyland. And this is a book by Tommy Lee. And in this book, he talks about a lot of interesting things. Now, look, he's a very controversial figure, and he's been kind of in the news recently, not only because of some of the things that have happened on the stadium tour, which I saw in Philly, and it was amazing. But he did, break some ribs, and he wasn't able to play for certain shows. The show where I saw him in Philly, he played part of the time at least, so I did get to see him drum. He did a great job. But he also just had a pretty interesting Instagram post featuring his most notable body part, I guess. I'm sure you've seen it in the news, and they took it down. But and then he just posted something kind of making fun of that whole thing. So check out Tommy Lee's Instagram if you want to see what I'm talking about. But but anyway, getting back to why I wanted to make this video. So I'd read this book, and it's a great summer read. Lots of interesting facts about his life, and there's some pictures and whatnot. And in it, he says that he loves the fragrance note of gardenia. He loves the smell of gardenias, and like he wants to permanently have the smell of gardenias in his nostrils, like at all time. And what I thought was really cool, and again, he's controversial, but no, whether you love him or hate him, I think this is really cool. He does not like categorizing fragrances as masculine or feminine, and he doesn't think there should be a problem with men smelling like flowers. Like if a guy wants to smell like flowers, he should smell like flowers. So that's his point of view. So he actually really loves the Kai perfume oil, which is a gardenia oil. I don't have that one in today's video because I've only smelled it a couple times. It's not completely my vibe. But I do have other fragrances that feature gardenia pretty heavily. And yeah, just wanted to tell you about them and kind of give a nod to Tommy Lee for encouraging the use of gardenia in fragrances for everyone. And I guess I'm plugging the book. It is a really cool book, I have to say. So I also got so my history with like Motley Crue. Okay. Well, when Motley Crue was very popular in their heyday in the 80s and early 90s, I was kind of listening to other types of music. Not that I didn't like Motley Crue, but I didn't really make a point to listen to them. And then fast forward to last winter when Pam and Tommy came out on Hulu, and I got obsessed with that show because I've always loved Pam Anderson as well. And I went bonkers for that. And it just took me down a rabbit hole where I started reading all these interviews with Pam Anderson and Tommy Lee, and I just wanted to know everything about them. It started a really weird kind of obsession. And so I started listening to Motley Crue a little more. And then I started reading some of the books. I read The Dirt, which highly recommend that as well. Even if you aren't a huge Motley Crue fan, it just tells some really entertaining stories about what it was like for them. And yeah, I'm also going to be reading Nikki Sixx's books as well. So they're entertaining. But anywho, I fell down this rabbit hole of looking up Pam Anderson and Tommy Lee and Motley Crue things, and here we are. So as far as the fragrances that feature the note of gardenia, so I do have 6 here. And it was funny when I was looking up on Fragrantica perfumes that have a gardenia note. There were some that I knew they had gardenia in them, but I kind of forgot about them. And they're some of my favorite perfumes. I am really particular with floral notes. Those of you who've been watching me for a little while, you know I'm really not a floral perfume girl. There are very few floral notes that I'm really into. Gardenia just happens to be one of my favorites. I think it blends really well with the scent profile that I like. I do like earthier, spicier, muskier, and I just think that gardenia lends itself really well to those kinds of fragrances. So without further ado, because you're probably like, shut up, can we just get to the perfumes? Sorry, I'm Italian, you know, I talk a lot with my hands. So let's go to our first one, and this is the one that maybe you thought of right away as well, which is Gucci Flora Gorgeous Gardenia. And this one came out fairly recently, within the last couple of years. And I love the bottle. I just have a little one of this. So this one has top notes of pear blossom, red berries, and Italian mandarin. Mid notes are gardenia, jasmine, and frangipani. And base notes are brown sugar and patchouli. Now, this one doesn't really scream gardenia, even though it's called Gorgeous Gardenia. I feel like the gardenia is way in the background in this one, and it's more of a sugary, like brown sugary type of scent. This also gets, I feel like this gets a lot of hate, and I don't think it really deserves hate. But what I will say is it is a very, I mean, I don't know if I want to say generic, but I think it is a very crowd-pleasing, inoffensive scent. I don't think this is anything where you'd walk by and people would say, oh my gosh, like, oh, what are you wearing? And you know me, I do like scents like that. But this is, to me, a very easy reach fragrance when I just don't know what I want to wear. And it's also good for all seasons. But yeah, it has the gardenia in it, but it's subtle. And it's sweet, it's light. The projection and longevity aren't crazy, I would say, you know, moderate for both. But it's a really nice, pleasing scent. It just makes you smell good, very feminine, and it has a nice little gardenia touch to it. I mean, you also get the jasmine in here as well, but it doesn't come off to me, even though it's like Gucci Flora, it's a flanker of that. It doesn't come off to me as extremely floral, which is why I like it. So I think it's nice. Now, I got this, I think, on some sort of sale and, you know, points and all of that. I would not, because this is not cheap, I would not pay full price for this because I don't think it's worth full price, but it's a nice inoffensive scent. So that is Gucci Flora Gorgeous Gardenia. I don't know if Tommy Lee knows about this one. So, you know, maybe I would love for him to watch and then he could, you know, personally tell me. So anyway. All right. The next one, from another musician. It's a celebrity scent, and this is M by Mariah Carey. This one I knew off the bat was a gardenia scent because this is one of my probably most unusual, unique fragrances, which for a celebrity fragrance, as you know, that is pretty hard to do, to be, different and not smell generic. I'm going to spray this. So if you've never tried this, it's super cheap, but to me, it doesn't smell cheap. I'm not the biggest Mariah Carey fan, I have to admit. I mean, I guess she's okay, but this perfume I love. And for me, this is like beast mode. When I use this, I can smell it until like the next day. That's just my experience. This is a very, just forget about the whole gardenia thing. Just in general, if you want a really interesting perfume that doesn't smell like anything else and has a really sort of strange scent profile, but you might be into it. It's strange, but like in a good way. And by Mariah Carey. So top notes are marshmallow and seawater. Mid notes are tiara flower and gardenia. And then base notes are incense, amber, and patchouli. So you might notice those are very strange. That's a very strange combination of notes. You usually don't get like incense and seawater. So it does have this slight aquatic element to it, but it is also spicy, and it goes through different stages throughout the dry down. So you do get a little bit of that sweetness from the marshmallow, right at the top, and you get a little bit of that aquatic seawater. Definitely get the gardenia in this, but again, it's not overly floral because as it dries down, it becomes much more ambery and incensey. I just think it's a beautiful fragrance and really unique. So, again, if you want gardenia that's blended in really well, still has a little bit of a, it does have a slight tropical flair to it, but this would be like nighttime, like summer nights. This is great for. But yeah, it's just such an interesting gardenia fragrance. So that is M by Mariah Carey, and such a good cheapie. Highly recommend. Okay. This next one probably is my favorite of the bunch. There's a bunch of buzz about this now because the rumor is that it's getting discontinued or reformulated because there's some ingredient in it that got banned, or I don't know. But this is Narciso from Narciso Rodriguez, Narciso Eau de Parfum. And yeah, it's getting a little bit harder to find. So this is that white cube that a lot of people talk about, a lot of people in the fragrance community anyway. This one is so good. I mean, if you know, you know. I'm going to spray it on myself. I freaking love this thing. Oh my gosh. So this one has top notes of gardenia and white rose. So you do get this blast of gardenia right at the top. But again, not to me overly floral, but it's present. It is there. The mid note is musk. And of course, that's what Narciso Rodriguez is famous for. And to me, no one compares as far as musk. Like, he is the king of musk. And then the part that I love the most is the base, because you have white cedar extract, cedar, and vetiver. And I just love vetiver in fragrances. So, this one is like floral, like white floral, but also powdery and musky, and yeah, has this like woodsiness. It's almost, I would say it actually is unisex. And again, I agree with Tommy Lee. I don't think you should categorize fragrances as, masculine or feminine necessarily, but this one, I think it, is right in the middle. It's just like clean without being soap, because I do not like soapy fragrances. I don't like fragrances that smell like laundry or detergent or anything like that. I hate that. And again, if you've been with me for a while, I hate those type of fragrances. This is clean, but in a different way. And it's like there's something kind of like dirty and earthy and raw and bare about it that I just, oh my gosh, I love so much. So this is, I'd say, an extremely sexy gardenia fragrance. Very unisex, very woody, earthy, and it's just, to me, it is just perfection. So that is Narciso by Narciso Rodriguez. Get your hands on it while you can, because I don't think you're going to be able to get it for much longer. Not to cause any kind of like hysteria, but I'm just giving you the information that I have. All right, next. This is another one of probably my favorite fragrance discoveries of the year. I did not expect to love this so much, and I do. I love it. This was one of those fragrances that, you know, the way I put it, you know, it's like I love those fragrances where I smell them and I feel like my head's gonna explode because they're that good. That's how I felt the first time I smelled this. This is Mugler's Aura Eau de Parfum Sensuelle, the Sensuelle version. I do not have the original Aura. I have a sample of it, and I like it, but this one to me is a billion times better. First off, like, how cool is this bottle? It reminds me of like She-Ra or something, right? Oh, I love this one. Should I spray it? I'm going to spray a little bit. Oh, it's so good. And this is another one that is so unusual. So, the Aura EDP Sensuelle has top notes of gardenia and cinnamon leaf, which is such a crazy combination, but oh, it works so well. The mid notes are just green notes in general, and that's the thing with Aura. If you're familiar with Aura, it is a very green fragrance. And then the base notes are white musk and sandalwood. So very much in the similar vein as the Narciso Rodriguez, but this one is a little bit sweeter, a little bit more feminine, although I would also say you could pull this off as unisex. But the gardenia in here, again, oh, it's just intoxicating. It's also clean and powdery, but real. I mean, it's called Sensuelle. It is very sensual. The that cinnamon leaf gives it this little spicy extra something something, and it's just really good. I would not suggest blind buying this, however, because it is strange. It's a little bit strange. It's not this I would not say is like I don't know. It's not generic. It's very, very unique. Not that it smells weird or bad or anything, but I don't know that everyone would be completely into this. But to me, it is unique and it just smells lovely. So that is Mugler's Aura Eau de Parfum Sensuelle. Okay, another one here that has gardenia in the name, and this is Pacifica's Tahitian Gardenia. I love Pacifica because it's a clean brand, it's accessible, you know, very affordably priced. You can get them at Target, and they just make really nice scents. So this one is very, to me, this is like the perfect island gardenia. This is probably the closest to what Tommy Lee likes, probably the closest to the Kai perfume that he wears. So let's try this here. Yeah, this one is very, very floral, very, very sweet. And it doesn't have a breakdown of like top and middle and base notes. It just has gardenia, jasmine, sweet orange, and tea leaf. You definitely get this tea smell in the background, which is pretty cool. And you get orange, but you get a very prominent white floral vibe with this. And usually I don't like straight up white florals, but that orange and tea, you know, makes it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, this is a very, to me, it smells, you know, much more tropical and summery than the other ones. And it's just very, it's simple, pretty linear, but it's really nice. So if you want more of a kind of a sweet white floral, kind of going into island territory, but has that little bit of something different, you know, this one's really nice. So that is, and it's very affordable. So that is Pacifica Tahitian Gardenia. And then last but not least, another fragrance that I feel like is kind of strange and that I really didn't realize had a prominent gardenia note, but this is Cartier's La Panthère, Panthère, like Panther, Panthère, however you say it, the Parfum version. I love these bottles because they're so cool. They have like a panther face in there. So I have smelled the original La Panthère and it's very nice, but this version I really, really like. But it's definitely different, and this is going to sound so strange. But to me, not just this one, but I think all of the Panthère flankers, they kind of smell to me like a really expensive like stationery store, which you don't see much anymore because people don't use like real paper anymore very often. But back in the day when you'd go to like a really nice like stationery store and it had that like papery smell. I know that's so weird, but to me it has like an element of that. It has like an expensive paper smell in the background. And this is more of a chypre fragrance. And again, I would not ever recommend blind buying this guy because it is sort of weird. It's sort of unusual, and it's almost a little off-putting. And sometimes I smell it, I'm like, but then eventually I'm like, ooh, okay, it's different. So this one also doesn't have like a level breakdown. It's just notes. So the notes are apricot, moss, osmanthus, gardenia, patchouli, and musk. And the patchouli in this is really different. It's a very refined patchouli, so don't let the patchouli part of it scare you. It's not like a hippie patchouli or a really super strong patchouli or like a Mugler patchouli. It's blended in really nicely, but that apricot and oak moss or moss definitely gives you some retro like 70s 80s vibes. This is like a boss woman fragrance. I mean, it's Cartier, so duh. But you have to like that classic scent profile. But on the flip side of that is you're not going to smell like other people like now. This is not the scent profile that is popular right now and crowd pleasing right now. And that's what I like. I don't want to smell like everybody else. So this is available, I think at like Macy's, Neiman Marcus, it's a little more upscale, Cartier boutiques, I would assume. But if you can get your nose on it, don't blind buy it. And you like those stronger sort of like power boss lady fragrances. Although this one I feel like could be unisex as well. If you like that classic chypre with that nice hit of gardenia in there, go for the La Panthère, the Parfum version. It's the best one from the ones that I've smelled. So there you have it. 6 really beautiful, really unusual in some cases, Gardenia perfumes inspired by Mr. Tommy Lee. Let me know in the comments if you have a favorite Gardenia perfume. Let me know also if you are a Tommy Lee fan or how do you feel about him. Again, I really haven't quite made up my mind. There's some things that I like about him, some things I don't like about him. But he's true to himself, and I do like that. And I do like his viewpoint on fragrances. So, and I feel like his life story is quite entertaining. So, but let me know what you think. And of course, for everyone who's been supporting me, I really, really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you, join the realm of my weirdness. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.